Hi, I'm James the Osteopath, and today we're going to be talking about sciatica. Now, I've got 3 clinics in the UK and we treat sciatica all day, every day, so you're in the right place. Now, sciatica is not back pain. Sciatica specifically, by definition, is when you get a pinched or impinged nerve, the sciatic nerve, which comes out the lowest part of your spine and can run all the way down the leg. So very often you will start to feel pain, symptoms, numbness, even loss of muscle function going down through the sciatic nerve distribution all the way down the leg. So there's of course 2 different types of sciatica. Now, one where you're getting impingement of the nerve in the lowest part of the spine, and the second type is where you get impingement of the nerve in the buttock area. The reason why you may get it in the lowest part of the spine is for a few reasons. A common one is because of a disc bulge or prolapse. So the discs in your spine between the bones will bulge out, and that can press on that sciatic nerve right there, which of course will then send that pain all the way down through the leg. Another reason why you might get sciatica coming from the lowest part of your spine is because of wear and tear building up in the spine, and that wear and tear can affect the discs and they can start narrowing off and decompressing through here. That puts pressure on the nerve. And the other type of sciatica, which people often call piriformis syndrome, is where you get a tightening of the piriformis muscle which crosses over here, and that tightening of that muscle can put pressure on the nerve which runs all the way down through here. So a real red flag to watch out for, basically something that you do not want, is when you get pain shooting down the back of both legs and potentially a loss of bowel or bladder control and loss of sensation on the saddle area between the legs where you'd sit on a saddle. If you get that, it could indicate that you've got compression of the spinal cord through a disc bulge, and that's not a good thing. You would want to get down to the emergency room and get that checked, because we do not want pressure on those nerves, because that in the long run can create paralysis or loss of function in your legs. Now, you're probably wondering which type of sciatica you've got. Have you got the type that comes from the lower back, or have you got the type that comes from this hip area here? Well, if you're getting pain in the low back that is painful when you're bending and twisting, and it's painful there and also goes down the leg, then you've probably got sciatica coming from a disc bulge or prolapse in the lowest part of your spine, pressing on that nerve. If you have no pain at all in the low back and you can bend and twist with no discomfort at all, but you do get pain in the buttock area here that starts to come down through the leg, and especially if you're sat for a period of time, you can feel it building up in this area, there's a very good chance that you've got a tightening of that piriformis muscle, which puts pressure directly on that nerve and sends the pain down through the leg. So we're going to be running through 3 different exercises that you can do to help sciatica coming from the piriformis area here, and also 3 exercises that you can do to help sciatica coming from the lowest part of your spine. But some things you can do to help relieve the pain immediately is things like taking regular breaks from a desk, and then also when you're sat in a car or at your desk, place something in the lowest part of your spine to bring yourself more upright, to take that pressure off the nerve in the lower back. So if the sciatica is coming from the lowest part of your spine and you've got a disc bulge or prolapse pressing on that nerve, you can see I'm compressing down to create that bulge coming out. We want to decompress the spine, decompress the disc, and take pressure off the nerve so it does that. So the first exercise I'm going to give you is just that. It's how we're going to decompress the discs in your spine to take pressure off the nerve. So I want you to take a seat on the edge of a chair or a table, place your hands either side, and then bring your legs forward, bring your hips off, and just let your hips hang down like this. I can feel a real decompression, tractioning happening down through my back as I stay in this position. And then to increase the effectiveness, simply move your hips from side to side like this. And you will feel that tractioning and articulation all through the spine, even through that disc, which takes that pressure off the nerve, which of course means less sciatica. Now, the next exercise is going to be called flossing. Now, flossing basically is where we floss the nerve in and out of this area here in the low part of the spine where it's being pinched. So the nerve, as you know, it comes out the back all the way down the back of the leg. So if I straighten my leg like this, I'm actually moving and stretching the nerve down. And then I also, as I do that, look up. And as I look up, I'm bringing the whole nervous system down with it, so we can increase that flossing movement through the nerve. It looks just like this. So if the sciatica is going down through my left leg, I'll extend my left leg and look up all the way, and then bend my left leg and look down. With this exercise, you want to be doing high repetitions. So maybe 40, 50, 60 repetitions over and over again, just to try and floss that nerve free at that pinching point. So the third exercise for sciatica coming from the lowest part of your spine is going to be a real articulation and movement of the lower back, which of course gets more freedom of movement back into the area, which gives you a really good chance of taking pressure off the discs and the joints and the nerves. So I want you to go into this position here, and then you're going to push your back all the way up into the air as high as you can, and then arch it all the way down to there. You're going to do that 20 times. And then you're going to go side to side like this. So all the way one way, all the way the other way. And again, we're going to be doing 20 repetitions. Now, if you've got the sciatica that is coming from this area here, which is that piriformis syndrome, where the piriformis muscle that crosses this area here is tightening and pressing on that sciatic nerve, we need to release that tightness in that muscle because that will take the pressure directly off the sciatic nerve. Now, the first exercise is a simple piriformis stretch. So I want you to take a seat like this. If I've got a tightness of that piriformis on this left-hand side, I'm going to bring this leg to here and then let that knee drop down, and then I lean my body forwards, and it's as easy as that. That is directly stretching the piriformis muscle on this left-hand side. So you pause there for 30, 60 seconds and do that one multiple times throughout the day. So a direct way that we can release that tightness through that piriformis muscle is with direct inhibition or ischemic compression, and we're going to do that with a tennis ball. So you can do it on the floor or you can do it seated. You take the ball, you place it underneath that buttock area, and you're simply moving around on the ball until you find a painful area, and that indicates that you're directly on that piriformis muscle. You go with the pain, you sit down into it, and it's going to be very painful. You may even feel it starting to radiate down through the leg if you're going near that sciatic nerve, but you keep the pressure on the piriformis muscle, and then as the pain starts to melt away and ease off, you move to a new spot, and again, you find that hot spot, you get pressure down into it. Keeping the pressure there, again, it's going to make that muscle really tight and painful, but hold it very still. Do that 4 to 5 times all through this area, and do that just once a day to release that tight piriformis muscle and take that pressure off the nerve. So for some people, stretching that piriformis muscle can be a little bit painful in the hip if you're going for this one specifically. So a slight variation on this stretch would be to bring this foot across the knee here and then try and pull this leg across to here. You're going to get right across, you're going to feel a stretch deep into this buttock area, and I want you to then hold that one again for 60 seconds, and again do that one multiple times, 3 times a day with all the other exercises. Pressure and pinching of the nerve coming from the lowest part of the spine, the goal is to decompress your spine with those exercises and also articulate the spine, get as much movement back into the jammed up joints through here. And then lastly, of course, the flossing to get that nerve moving in and out of the area to try and take pressure off the nerve. And then if you've got that piriformis syndrome or a tight piriformis muscle putting pressure on the sciatic nerve, our goal there is deep inhibition to release the tightness of the muscle, and then those stretches to stretch out this whole area. Stretching the muscle can release that tightness, which again, of course, takes pressure off the sciatic nerve, which will equal less pain down the leg. The goal would be just to do all the exercises because they're not necessarily going to make things worse, but if you're doing all the exercises, you're at least leaving no stone unturned and you're giving yourself the best possible chance of taking pressure off that nerve and getting you feeling and moving back to your best. Subscribe for more exercises, like this video, and of course we'll see you next time.